Can a bishop sacrifice weaken the dark light squares? Have you ever wondered how a bishop sacrifice can impact the control of squares on the chessboard? This question dives into the strategic depths of chess and reveals how a seemingly simple move can lead to significant consequences. Let's break this down step by step. In chess, a bishop sacrifice is when a player willingly gives up their bishop to gain a tactical advantage. This can involve weakening certain squares on the board, and it all depends on the specific situation. Bishops are powerful pieces that control diagonals, making them essential for both attacking and defending. Now, let's talk about square weakness. A square is considered weak if it cannot be defended by pawns or other pieces. This weakness can be on light squares or dark squares, depending on the color of the bishop involved in the sacrifice. When a player sacrifices a light-squared bishop, it does not directly weaken dark squares since that bishop does not control them. However, if this sacrifice opens lines for other pieces to attack dark squares, it can indirectly weaken them. On the flip side, sacrificing a light-squared bishop can indeed weaken light squares if they are not protected by other pieces or pawns. This is especially true if that bishop was the only piece controlling those squares. In advanced chess strategies, one common example is the classic bishop sacrifice. This move often involves sacrificing a bishop on the h7 square to expose the opponent's king. By doing this, players can create weaknesses around the king, regardless of the color of the squares. At the Grandmaster level, players analyze the long-term effects of a bishop sacrifice. They consider whether the sacrifice will lead to permanent weaknesses on certain squares or if it merely creates temporary vulnerabilities. Typical bishop sacrifices, like the classic bishop sacrifice, aim to open lines for other pieces to attack the king. This often results in weakened squares around the king, particularly if the opponent cannot defend them effectively. In some cases, a bishop is sacrificed to create long-term weaknesses on specific squares. This strategy can be particularly effective if the opponent lacks the pieces needed to defend those squares properly. In summary, a bishop sacrifice can indeed weaken squares, but the extent of this weakening relies heavily on the specific circumstances of the sacrifice and the pieces remaining on the board. It is essential to assess how the sacrifice influences the overall balance of power and control over key squares.